What's going on, everyone? Jack here from Half-Chrome. This is the Mobula 6 ELRS version. Now, I've seen some reviews on this. Not a lot of people like the 0702 motors, right? I'm going to just throw that out there, right? They're not as powerful, but I think I might actually prefer it. There's a lot of things really going right with this tiny little quad. Stay tuned, and I'll tell you about it. All right, so it's a tiny whoop, right? They're all pretty darn similar. This is my original Mobula 6, and it's obviously been modified because it's been through a whole lot. I crashed the heck out of this thing, and I thought it wasn't working, but I actually just fired it up, and it's working just fine. Tiny whoops are all kind of the same, right? You get a small platform, you get them as light as possible, and you can fly them around your house, and on days where it's not windy, you can get it outside as well. Now, this guy, the Mobula 6, ELRS version, has these smaller and lighter 0702 26,000 kV motors, and they're not as powerful, but they're also a little bit lighter than the ones on the original. I actually found that I had more control with this because it wasn't quite as powerful. Now, it also did have some disadvantages. I wasn't able to pull out of some maneuvers when I was flying outside in acro, but really that's not what this thing is made for. These guys, whoops like this, I think are best for flying inside. And this thing's a beast. I was flying this thing around my house. Hopefully my wife isn't listening right now, but I love this thing. It is fun, it's fast, it's easy to fly. It's not too powerful, but it can get going if you want it to. Now, the thing that sets this apart actually isn't just these motors, it's that it's an ELRS, Express Long Range System. Yes, this has a built-in ELRS receiver. It's this tiny little stack in here. You get better signal strength, better signal quality. This thing has better range than any tiny whoop that I've ever flown. Most of the whoops with the SPI receivers, they're really not very good at all. But this guy with the built-in ELRS and 200 milliwatt VTX gives you the best range out of any whoops that I've ever flown. And the latency is even better. Now, I'm not a latency guy. I can't say that I really noticed a huge difference, but it did seem really responsive. I think the tune on this thing is just really good. I think that's helpful, but this is a really nice little quad. Maybe 0802 motors might be better suited for someone else, but I think for beginners, 0702s, they're okay. Okay, so let's talk about the things that you're going to want to know about this quad. Yes, it has an F4 all-in-one flight controller that includes all the goodies, including the VTX and the ESCs, as well as that onboard ELRS receiver. Now, mine is the 2.4 gigahertz version, and you can get a 900 megahertz version if that's something you're looking for. It's about 19 grams, and about 26 with the included 300 milliamp hour batteries. Now, those batteries are going to connect to this guy via a PH 2.0 connector. So if you're into the BT 2.0s, you're going to have to do some soldering yourself. I crashed the heck out of this thing. It's pretty darn durable. Something else that's really cool is this is running Betaflight 4.3. And one thing that was just really nice is I go to the receiver tab and click bind, and poof, it just bound right up. It was super simple and easy. Now, in order to fly one of these, you're going to have an ELRS module. Now, you can buy one of these, or you can even flash if you have an old R9 module to make it ELRS compatible. Now, I was flying mine on this old Tyrannus, and I found that the sticks on this thing just aren't as nice as my new Radio Master, so I think in the future I'm going to have to upgrade to a full-size ELRS module so that I can do that. But, it is kind of nice to have a small remote to go with my small quad. Now, I did have to get my old Mobula 6 up and running because Jackson and I are going to have a whole lot of fun flying these things around the basement. So we're going to do some tiny whoop racing, so you're going to have a whole lot of 1S batteries. Now, you get 4 with this, and they're the Happymodel 300 milliamp hour batteries. I was getting about 2.5 minutes of flight time on each one of those packs. Now, I have a ton of 1S batteries, but they all seem to kind of go bad quickly. Probably don't take care of them the way that I need to. But it's nice because 1S batteries aren't going to cost you a fortune. You can pick a handful of them up pretty cheap on Banggood, Amazon, and other different places. Now, the weather's about to turn here outside of Chicago, so we're going to be limited to flying inside. I'm pretty glad that I have this guy because this is going to be my new indoor flyer. We'll take a look at some of the footage that I recorded in the goggles. Now this is the Runcam Nano 3, which is a pretty solid little camera for a tiny whoop. Okay, so let's take a look at the Mobula 6 outdoors. Now this is an outdoor flight, flying in acro mode. And I'm just gonna kind of take it out and fly it down the path here, trying to get it a little bit further away from my house. You can see the link quality starting to disintegrate here, drop down to 40% or so, push it up a little bit higher. We're starting to lose the link quality there, so we're gonna head back. But that's actually pretty darn good for an SPI receiver. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't be able to get that far with some of the other tiny whoops I have that have built-in receivers. So this ELRS system is actually pretty darn solid. I just have a lot more reliability. You know, they say it sends better packet rates. Basically, that just means you're going to get a higher fidelity signal. You're going to get a higher quality signal, and it's going to be strong, a lot stronger than a typical FrSky receiver, and especially a built-in receiver. I would never take a tiny whoop out over that pond. It just, you know, they could fail save at any time, and I would have lost it. But with this ELRS, I'm a little bit more confident. Now, I'm not flying long range, not with a tiny whoop, but it is nice to have the ability to get a little bit further, to get into some of those corners of my home. I can fly from my basement to the top level without issues. I don't lose signal. And even having this 200 milliwatt VTX built in is also kind of nice because I get a little bit stronger of a signal. I get a better video feed coming in. Now, I'm going to do a little bit more of an acro flight here with the Mom 6. Now, it's not an acro piece by any stretch of the imagination, but you can do some flips and rolls, and you know, this thing is really built so you can fit in some tiny gaps and things, and that's what I think is fun about flying a tiny whoop. And this is kind of not a totally windless day, but not, you know, good enough you can fly a tiny whoop outside, right? That's the point here. Now, these 0702 motors don't have the oomph to kind of pull out of dives and stuff that the 0802s would, but I do feel like this tune is just on. It's really nice. This is a fun little quad fly. There you go. You see I hit the bottom there. Some of that's pilot error, some of that is lack of power, but tiny whoops are fun. You can fly them inside. If you're flying inside, I recommend you stay in angle mode. You get them outside, you throw the switch into acro, and you can kind of do some zipping around and some fun flying. So I really do enjoy this quad. Like I said, I live just outside of Chicago. We're going to get some cold winters, and this is going to become my indoor flyer. Going to hit some gaps, fly around the basement, put up some hoops, and have some fun with it. So yeah, I do enjoy this ELRS system. It is the way of the future, just a better signal link. If you're looking for a tiny whoop, this is a solid option. You can pick one up for about $105 from Banggood. Highly suggest you pick up a few extra 1S batteries. 300s are kind of the sweet spot, or if you don't mind the little extra weight, 350s give you a little bit more flight time. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you check us out on halfchrome.com for all sorts of information on drones, cameras, and other gear. And don't forget, we live stream on Sunday nights where we give away a drone once a month to a lucky Patreon subscriber. Hey, good luck everyone, and happy flying.